The universe once said, would it be enough to know that long ago, when the two of us carefully mapped out your pending adventure into the jungles of time and space, when our planning was done and the big picture revealed, you burst into tears of joy, overwhelmed with its perfection and who you would become.
Jumbo, fellow adventurer and podcast listener. Today, I have a very special release just for podcast listeners. As you may know, I have an Infinite Possibilities membership for whom, for the past 2 years, every single Tuesday, I deliver a mini manifesting workshop, complete with a downloadable PDF, which is also available to you in the description of this podcast, should you so choose to print it out, check out the summary points, and complete it. Purely optional. Well, I have chosen my very favorite mini manifesting workshops, which deals with helping you become a happier, quicker, faster manifester for this and future podcast drops. Basically, there'll be one mini manifesting workshop dropped every month. It'll be available only for 4 weeks, and then a new one will be added. Of course, if you like these, they're available to Infinite Possibility members. Membership is at a price you choose. Check it out at tut.com. For now, this one's on me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what may be perhaps your very first mini manifesting workshop.
Jumbo, fellow Infinite Possibility members, happy Tuesday wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another mini manifesting workshop, a month dedicated to celebrating you. It's long overdue. And this week, we're going to talk about finding your power in the moment. In the moment. This is the key. All of the Eastern books, all the metaphysical teachers, they're all like, if you could just get in the moment, then your senses would be overcome with love, overcome with realization, overcome with joy, ecstasy, as they put it. I couldn't help but think of one of my old and all-time favorite notes from the universe, if I may recite to you from your handout. Welcome, new members. Welcome back, veterans. There's a downloadable PDF handout that goes along with every single mini manifesting workshop just under the video you're watching now on your dashboard. The universe once said, would it be enough to know that long ago, when the two of us carefully mapped out your pending adventure into the jungles of time and space, when our planning was done and the big picture revealed, you burst into tears of joy, overwhelmed with its perfection and who you would become. Yeah, like a baby. Me too. The universe. That is gospel. That's written. That's the nature of divine mind. Here I am in Manzanillo, and I go for a walk along the Corniche, the Malapan, a little run every day. And the waves, there's been a storm brewing, crashing into the rocks, splashing way high, far as the eye can see. It's just the wonder of nature, the balance, the physical laws, the little eddies and the tides among the rocks and the waves coming in and going out unceasingly for billions of years. And it's like, what mind could have held that all together, that still holds that all together? Not just what I'm able to witness with my little peepers here in tiny old Manzanillo, but how many, maybe 1 million miles of shoreline on planet Earth, or maybe I'm crazy, maybe a 500,000 miles. I'm not far off. If you looked at every coast of every island of every continent on planet Earth, where there are waves and eddies and pools and foam from the sea and seagulls and albatrosses, and what I'm trying to get at is just the mind-boggling scope of nature. And we're just talking about tides, okay? And then there's blades of grass and probably a million varieties, and then bumblebees and ETs, and it's like, it is that mind that designed you and your potential, that you are born of. This is the magnificence, the majesty, the infinite possibilities, and the absolute certainty that you will get to that place, overcome with tears of joy and gratitude at the magnificence of who you now are, of who you've always been. This is not about like one day when you're walking on water, you're going to be so happy. It's like when that day comes, you're going to look back to today, when you're in the throes of the jungles of time and space, fending off the lions and tigers and bears, still maintaining some degree of hope that made it all possible. And this was what was crafted in the mind of God, this journey of utter, total, sheer perfection, where we could feel like we're lost, but we never are, where we can feel like we've been made less, that we are inadequate, that we're not up to snuff, that we've dropped the ball, that we've come undone, none of which was ever true. This is the hero's journey. This is courage. This is bravery. This is all that and so much more. You playing out your life in the heart of God, thinking that you're mere mortal. How cute are you? How silly is that? It's okay. It's okay. We're going to get there. We're doing it together. We're locked arm in arm, walking each other home. Okay. So finding your power in the moment. Boy, you know, Bashar and Abraham and Sarah Landon and all those folks, they talk about joy in the moment being everything. Joy in the moment is where the celebration begins. Joy in the moment, in this eternal now. That's what's all important. How do you get there? Because it sounds so easy. Just do what you want to do. Just move with joy. Just use your internal mechanism, your feedback of emotions. Does this feel good or does that feel good? That sounds so easy, but well, I would say it is. But I have made it quite difficult up until this very moment at times in my life. So today, what I've got in store is the 3 steps. Everything boils down to the 3 steps. That's just perfect for a mini manifesting workshop. 3 really powerful thoughts to help you celebrate you by finding yourself in the now, unleashing joy and ecstasy. All right. And my 3 simple steps are: free yourself from the past, surrender to the future, and bask in the glory of yourself this very moment. Let go of the past, surrender to the future, bask in the glory of what is you here and now. Easy peasy. So let's do a deep dive. Free yourself from the past. This is about forgiving others, and this is about forgiving yourself. And this is really going to be easy. I'm about to unleash on you what I think is one of the all-time best notes from the universe ever. One of the most potent few words ever cobbled together, all about forgiveness. It might sting a little, but then there'll be cause for uproarious celebration as the coin drops. Okay, so you're prepared. This, by the way, what I'm about to share with you is worth the entire mini manifesting workshop. So if you're in a hurry, you could just go, and I'm sure your bucket will be full. Forgiveness becomes irrelevant and becomes unnecessary when you understand that it is only ever needed when first there was blame. No blame, no forgiveness. Don't blame, don't have to forgive. When first there is no blame, forgiveness is a moot point, does not show up, is not an option, is completely irrelevant. But first, there must not be blame. Have a cup of coffee, have a sip of coffee with that one, okay? And I told you it might sting, and I understand that. But if there's no blame, then there's no need for forgiveness. But what about the thing that they did to me when I was too young to know any better? What about this? What about that? What about... I'm not saying there aren't total jerks out there. I'm not saying don't hold them accountable, press charges or whatever, or shut the door and keep them out of your life for the rest of your life. You can still love them from a zillion miles away, and you don't have to love them in any fancy way, or you don't even have to love them if you're not even feeling it right now. But don't blame. Don't blame them. And I'm not saying that they're excused. They're going to have dues to pay. But don't blame. By blaming others, you shirk responsibility for making the choice to be born into these sacred jungles of time and space where all kinds of crazy, weird, wacky, sometimes difficult, unpleasant, and painful things might happen based on our limited knowledge of who we are, where we are, and how powerful we are. Don't blame others. This does not make them right, and this does not make you guilty. Do not blame. This is where, and this has come up before, an almost unavoidable conversation when talking metaphysics, law of attraction, thoughts become things, divine creator within all of us, where critics will point a finger and say, oh, you're blaming the victim, Mike Dooley. You are blaming the victim. I'm not blaming the victim. Blame is not a word that should operate in any spiritual conversation. Same as victim. You understand that. That doesn't mean that there aren't people who weren't violated, but to call them a victim denies them their power. Blame, victim, fault. It's like those words fail in spiritual conversations because they don't take into account the nature of reality and the nature of our choice to be here as gladiators of love and joy, intergalactic surfers of the tidal wave through the cosmos. This is who we are. And we saw there'd be peril. We saw that in our naiveties, we might believe in bad. We might believe in evil. We might believe in a whole lot of things, some of which confuse and conflicts with each other and brings us to unexpected manifestations, all for our growth and glory in a dream world where no one is made less and we all return whole, realizing we never even left the heart of God. So forgiveness, if there's been blame, there must be forgiveness. But you can skip the whole thing by retracting the blame. You're a spiritual warrior lost in space. I'm a spiritual warrior lost in space. We do stuff that really didn't serve any purpose that we had laid out before ourselves. And hey, that doesn't mean I need to like you. That doesn't mean I'm at fault. That doesn't mean you're at blame. I'm a divine sovereign creator. And for as long as anyone thinks random bad things can happen to them, someone might just show up and, do something awful. There goes your power. But when you claim responsibility for everything, which does not mean you have to understand it, which does not mean you have to explain it. You can claim responsibility without explaining the logistics of what brought it about. Like, I had something to do with that. I brought it in my realm. It's serving a purpose and a meaning. I have no flippant idea of what it could be, but I claim to be a creator, my creator. And then you're in a place of power for moving forward. Forget the past. Don't try to untangle it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to figure out your choice in how things evolved. Just know that there was a choice and that one day it'll make sense. Now power restored. So my little free yourself from the past, step one in finding your power in the moment, finding joy in the moment. It is a new take perhaps on an old concept. If there's blame, there must be forgiveness. Forget the blame. You don't need to forgive, do you? Okay. That is significantly about what other people have done to you, seemingly. I know we're splitting hairs. Yes, they did something to you. But then there's forgiveness of self. And this brings up a topic that has been recurring in a lot of the mini manifesting workshops. Nobody could have done better than you at the time you did it with what you knew. And so if you've got, if you're haunted by regret or a decision you made and you wished you hadn't, and it could have gone this way, but now it can't. It's like no one could have made a better choice. Maybe you should have acted, but you didn't act. Maybe you acted, but you wished you hadn't acted. Whatever it is, you did what the divine did in your shoes. You are of the divine, by the divine. Nothing has been lost. And by the time you come around this understanding and you get to that place, and you will, nothing's been lost, it will be that much sweeter for the detour you took, for the lessons that seem to derail you. In fact, you'll probably realize that the lessons or the regret that you went through actually has made a more stable arrival to the life of your wildest dreams than had you gotten there prematurely. No one could have done better than you at the time. All right, surrender to the future is step 2 of 3. Surrender to the future. Easy when you remember just a few things, okay? You're not here to figure out the cursed hows, the cursed who's, the cursed when's, where's. You're not here to mess with the logistics or enter into the Bermuda Triangle of manifestation. Hows, who's, and unimportant details. For you to try to use your relatively small brain compared to divine intelligence to figure out the logistics of whatever it is you'd like to bring to pass as a manifestation simply clogs the machinery. Surrender. You've already got a vision. You've got many visions: more joy, more love, awakening, happiness, health, recovery, harmony, friends, laughter, creativity, fulfillment. Those end results, generally stated, unleash the magic of the universe, unleash the tidal waves and the eddy pools and the toing and the froing and the rising of the tides based on lunar calendars and meteorological weather patterns is what I'm trying to say. All of that the universe does on the fly, effortlessly, and will do in your life with magnificent tidal waves unleashing boundless joy and wild abundance. You've set your end results. Now surrender. Surrender, let it go. That's going to help you get in the present so that you can receive some of these gifts, so you can feel that intuition, so that you can be led by infallible guidance when you're in the present. And you can't be in the present if you're out there in the past trying to anticipate every move on the chessboard of your life. You want to be here now. After having programmed the magic, end result, love and joy, wealth and abundance, now be here as you move with what's stirring in your heart, mindful of the dreams, but anchored in the present. This is what's going to get you there. This is what's going to make all the difference. Then you avoid the Bermuda Triangle of manifesting, where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and other times it worked, but you wished it hadn't. That's the Bermuda Triangle. Also realize, as I have shared undoubtedly before, in to all of my audiences, playing the matrix, leveraging the universe, and mini manifesting workshops. Um, Given the nature of who you are, speaking back to the grandeur and the magnificence of the divine, your inclination, your nature, God's nature is to just totally uh, ace this place, right? God's nature is like, well, let me go to time and space and see if I survive. Let's see if I make it out alive. It's like, this would be one more checkbox in the grand scheme of eternity, time and space. Loved it. Had a great time there. Tell all my friends about it. That is inevitable. Okay. And as we are now here in this equation of reality creation, we are pegged to get to that place. Our thoughts in alignment with the truth of who we are, of the divine, all powerful, eternal creators, infinite intelligence. Thoughts along those lines, they become things quickly. Thoughts out of alignment with truth. It's not going to work. I'm self-sabotaging again. I can't figure it out. Invisible, negative, limiting beliefs. Those are hard to manifest. So with positive thoughts, way more powerful, thoughts in alignment with truth, way more powerful than negative, fearful thoughts out of alignment with truth. It's as if our positive thoughts are at least 10,000 times more powerful than our negative thoughts. And so you have this going in your favor, where everything you touch truly turns to gold, whether you realize it in the moment or later on. This is being present, surrendering to the future, knowing of your inclination to thrive in a non-neutral universe. Non-judgmental does not mean neutral, uncaring. A caring universe, a universe that yearns to see the smile on your face. This is what bubbles up. This is what comes to the fore. Plus lots of clarity when you're in the present moment. Easiest to be in the present moment when you've surrendered the logistics to divine intelligence. It's one of the things that I am most pressing myself to do of late, and that is like, be here now. Be here now, not trying to figure out the next step of life's chess game, which I tend to try to do. Just no, trust. You've made your mark in terms of what you want to transform next. You know of your priorities. Be here now. Go out to the beach and play with Rebecca. Go and help my wife do something in the kitchen. Go for a walk. Be here now. And that doesn't mean I'm not doing stuff with regard to my future. It's just that I'm not doing stuff to make my future happen. That's surrender. Just need to remind myself of that all the time. And maybe I'm not alone. And number 3, bask in the glory of yourself in this moment. Just bask in the glory of yourself. You are God Almighty. You're here to rock it. It's time to celebrate. That's what this whole month is about, celebrating you. So I want you to celebrate you. I want you to look in the mirror and to see the attributes and the characteristics that you really like about yourself. I want you to hear your thought process and marvel at your brilliance and intelligence. I want you to witness yourself conversing with friends or meeting a stranger or encouraging them on a forum and just be like, dang, that's so sweet. That's so empathetic. That's so helpful. I love me. I want celebration. This is the month's theme. Celebrate you. How often, if ever, do we give ourselves permission to do this? With just this awareness, this invitation for you to kind of take note, little post-it notes or in your journal, take note of who you are, the awesomeness, the amazingness. Be your own cheerleader. I know many of you did the automatic writing adventure with Michael Sandler that just ended last week, and I participated and as a participant as well as a co-presenter. or moderator the entire time. And, I had my good mornings and my not so good mornings doing the automatic writing in the beginning. And then I got to a place where I was just allowing myself to write down in answer to my own questions to myself what I thought the highest within me would say. And boy, did I become Mike Dooley's cheerleader. Oh my God, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, but I started to kind of wonder and wane and wax, like what if and how come and where and maybe, and different things I'm addressing or facing, and and I let myself just like rah Mike Dooley, you are legend. You came here to thrive. You will prevail. You will be an example. You are a light. And it was amazing at how insanely loving and positive I was with myself, as if I was my higher self, and therefore I was my higher self. And what was more amazing is how good I felt about myself for sharing these insights, which I felt were so easy to recognize, yet I was not recognizing them. Things that I've done and things I've prevailed over and things I've worked through. And it's like, Mike, man, you're doing so great. You've blazed such a trail. And don't get me wrong, I'm not having a midlife crisis or anything like that. I think I'm too old to have a midlife crisis. But I had my atrial fibrillation came back, and I'm like, what is that and why? And so little things that everybody has kind of here and there, but we can kind of react to our little things and be like, what does this mean? And oh man, I'm going down. Or maybe that's just me, but point being, just bask in your awesomeness. And I'd invite you, whether you took the course or not, to just sit down and write down the success story. Maybe script it out like we did last month. And just come up with an angle in your writing of, why am I here? What does my soul want me to know? How else can I view this? What's the good in this? What's the good in me? And let your cheerleader out. I mean, as much as you mull and get analytical and introspective and powerful with the stuff that is challenging you, I want you to be just as brilliant, just as determined, just as focused, just as creative, just as observant with yourself in lauding, is that the right, Lauding, lauding your own accomplishments that might not be something that anybody else would know about ever or care about ever, but you were there and you prevailed and you chose another path and you saw the light and you held your head high and you marched on and you made the best of it. And oh my God, folks don't do the stuff that you do. People have not prevailed to the degree you have prevailed. People don't thrive the way you thrive. People don't stay as positive as you stay positive. I want that on the paper. That should have been your assignment. Instead of giving you an assignment this week, I've got a little guided meditation. So, well, this is not Qigong time. We'll do that after the guided meditation. So I want you just to take a few deep breaths in and a few deep breaths out. We're going to think about, celebrate, and wonder about you. All right. I want you to imagine, and I suggest you close your eyes right now if it's safe to do that. I want you to imagine that you're sitting comfortably at the beach. I want you to be there. It's early in the morning. The sun just rose. You hear gentle waves lapping near your feet. You hear seagulls in the distance. You feel a light breeze. You smell salt in the air. You're absolutely present. You're focused in the moment. You are so here. You are so now. Your mind is calm. It's not telling any stories. There's no need for justifications or explanations. You're just deeply at peace with yourself and all things, feeling so grateful. It's all perfect. You're perfect. Grateful for the past that's made you as you are today, poised for the best of the best of the best, enlightened, awakened, filled with an ecstasy in your every breath. For a moment, just let there be quiet. No thoughts, just breathe, quiet. No stories, just peace. Eternity before you, all is well. Nothing has to happen. You are provided for. Infinite possibilities linger all about, just waiting for your nod. Quiet. Quiet, easy, breezy, paradise beneath your feet. You are filled with the power of the divine, a power you've always known you had, but until now it felt elusive. A power unlike anything even imaginable. You feel so secure, capable, unstoppable, invincible, above all, lovable. So lovable. You are so amazing. You are awesome. You know all you have to do to change anything and everything in your life is to think it's so. But not now. No thinking now. Just hear these words, feel the presence of the divine, the ocean, the beach, the waves before you. No thoughts, no stories, no needs, just bliss, ease, ecstasy. All part and parcel of your newfound power, which simply arose because of your ever expanding understandings of reality and yourself. Understand how deeply you've always been loved and honored by legions in the unseen. You are legend. Okay, you can come back, breathing in, breathing out. Gosh, you're so powerful. You are so powerful. All right, hands up, little Qigong. Your affirmation this week: I am here and now. I am here and now. I am here and now. Everything else is here. And now too, whatever needs arise will be here. I am here and now. It's the only place I've ever been. It's the only place I'll ever be. It's the only place that exists. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. There's no one else I'd rather be. I am here. I am now. I am that I am. Okay, sending big hugs from Manzanillo. Thanks, Infinite Possibility members, for being here. Thoughts become things. You are adored. Have an amazing week, and I cannot wait to see you next Tuesday. Tally ho.
There you have it, fellow podcast listener. Now, let's stay in the zone. If you haven't already, please visit my website, tut.com, where you can sign up, along with 1 million other subscribers, for my free daily notes from the universe. You can also find out about my Infinite Possibility membership for a price you choose. Every single Tuesday, I do a live broadcast, a 30-minute mini manifesting workshop. Members have access to the last 52 mini manifesting workshops. So check it out. And if you have a moment and these podcasts move you, I would be deeply grateful for a review at the Apple Podcast platform. Go to tut.com, look for spiritual tune-ups, look for the link for podcasts. If you send us a screen grab of your published review at Apple, we've got a very special bonus waiting for you. Check out the links, read all about it. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the next podcast installment.